Hi, this is Tessa Keogh, and we got a quick question today from one of the Legacy Virtual User Group community members in response to my Tuesday's tip about working with your location master list. So I'm going to do a real quick run through, and hopefully this will give you some ideas on how I work with my locations, and then you can make the decisions on how you want to work with your locations. So, we're going to be looking at the John Cannell and Jane Kiley family for this item. And I've done something on purpose here, which, as you can see, I changed the spelling of Rockford to Rockfords because we're going to see if we can combine that to make it correct. But first of all, we go into locations, and I'm working in version 7.5, but this is pretty similar in version 8.0. So go ahead and take a look. I want to point out a couple things really quickly. Your sorted locations are in the order that you select. So if you want to look at your locations from the lowest jurisdiction, which here is a city, to the highest, which is the country, or you want to work in reverse order or anything in between, that's your choice. And you might want to include a street address or the name of a place, for instance, a cemetery or a church. That's up to you. You determine how you want to enter your locations. The only thing I'd say is be consistent. So I'm going to leave it the way that I have it set up and click on OK. The other thing you'll notice is that if a person is using a place, they'll be listed here. And this is easily changed by unclicking the person, Show People. And you can click right back on it. Now, if you want to see where this place is, and you can zoom in or zoom out. For instance, if we were to zoom out here, we'd see a greater part of Austria. The same thing would happen, hopefully, for Bermuda. You can also choose not to show the map when you're just working on data entry. And in fact, if you say not to show the people, all you'll have is your locations here. Now keep in mind that since I said, or I asked Legacy to place everything in descending order from country to state to county to town, that's the order I'm going to have it. If I want to find something, I can start typing it in and it will bring up the places that I'm looking for. Personally, I am looking for Winnebago for this discussion, and you'll see that we have Rockfords here as well as Rockford. Well, now I know that I made a mistake there, and I'm going to leave it in this format so that you can take a look and see. In fact, I think I'm going to show people. So you can see that for Rockford, we have a number of people. This is 51 people are using Rockford. We have one person using Rockfords, and personally, I know that I've made that mistake. What I'm going to do is highlight Rockfords and then click on Combine. And just hover your mouse, and Legacy's really good about telling you what it intends to do. And basically it's saying combine the highlighted location with another location in the list. So I'm going to click on Combine, and I know that I want it to be Rockford. And then I'd say Combine with. So it's telling me to highlight the destination location, in this instance Rockford, and click the button. And you'll see what happened here is now we have Rockford. We're back to having our 51 people who use that. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is Rockford's disappears, which is what you wanted. And I remind you to take a look. This is something that I do when I go through the list. I might be working with going through all of the places in the United States, and then I take a look at Ireland or whatever else I'm dealing with. I make sure to, this is a good way for me to tell if I have errors when I'm looking at this, or to see if I've listed a place that no one uses. Maybe I spelled green wrong without the E, and there's no green without the E in Indiana. But I'm able to look at this and see, for instance, who uses it or who doesn't. In this situation of Rockford, the other thing I wanted to point out was because of the way I've set this up, the place is going to show up as Rockford, Winnebago, Illinois, USA. And I want that full spelling the first time that I use my locations, and for my master list. The short name is going to be Rockford, Winnebago, IL, which is the two-letter code for Illinois, and USA, which is, for the United States of America. I don't ever spell it out, but I do have it listed as USA. That's my preference. I know now, I think Legacy defaults to United States, but you can work with whatever you want. If I were going to show you Ireland, I'll show you that I have listed out the provinces because I do a lot of Irish research and this is the way I want it. But I have the country spelled out. I have the province. I have the county the way that I would say it or the way that it's written, which is County Galway. And then I might have Connemara. Or I'm going to have St. Mullins in County Carlow in Leinster in Ireland. And what I want to point out is that my short name reads St. Mullins, Carlow, Leinster, and it's the International Code for Ireland, which is IRL. So I spent the time working with my locations and I go back and check them probably once a quarter. And that's just to make sure that I don't have any errors that I've done with data entry. I used to check it once a month when I was doing a lot of data entry and making a lot of errors. And so I would definitely encourage you to spend the time to clean up your master location list and then work through with your map if that's what you want to do. And I'll tell you that it does a pretty good job of finding everything. But you're going to want to work through this to make sure that it makes sense to you. And on certain places where you're going to get a question mark, I'm just going to show you this really quickly. This is what shows up in the census, and it was Indian Territory at the time. That's not going to show up on the Bing map. You're going to want to look that place up with a historical map and get the latitude and longitude, and then you can fill that information in yourself or just make a note of it. So that's a little something to get you started with the master location list, and I hope you have good luck cleaning up yours. If you have any tips or suggestions for any of us in the community, be sure and share them here in the Tuesday's Tips. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.